everyone, it's Katie at Craft Bake Journals. Welcome back to my channel. Today I just wanted to share a project that I did using the Tracie Fox random sciencey labels kit. And I was inspired by those medical records folders that have the little prongs, and then you can like take stuff out and remove it. So I started with that idea, and I thought, oh, I think I'm gonna make like a specimen version of that. So I used an old file folder, like a Pendaflex, excuse me, file folder, and then I cut out the front to make a little frame, and then put a plant with the transparency behind it, and then I used her labels to kind of decorate. And then I sewed around the edges and inked, of course. And then on the inside, it's just, I kind of designed like a little version of that folder. So you can take stuff out like this and put it back in. So all I did was just really use a label, and then I used these little zip ties from... These ones are from, excuse me, these ones are from Dollar Tree, actually. So they're really cheap and easy to use. But I'll show you in a little bit how I did that. And I blew up her specimen labels, and I put the blank ones in the back, and then use that. But you really could just use like pieces of paper, which is what I started out doing. And then I realized, oh, I could probably just use her labels as part of this, so it kind of all goes together. And another one of her labels for the tab, which I just punched out with the tab punch board. So yeah, I mean, it's just such a fun little project, and I'm really happy with the way that they turned out. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna make some more, but if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm gonna begin with my video on how I did this. Okay, so here I just used an old Pendaflex file folder, and I wanted my final product to end up being 4 inches by 5 inches, so I cut it to about 10 inches by 4 inches, and then folded it over just with a little bit showing at the top. And then I'm just gonna trim the edge there because I noticed that it was kind of uneven. So now that I have that edge trimmed, I'm just going to cut out the little window for the specimen. And I just made my own template out of a piece of cardstock, and I'm gonna trace around that and then cut it out. Now that I have the window cut out, I just like to kind of rough up the edges and distress them just to make it look a little bit older. So I just took my scissors and ran them along the edges. The next step is just to take your transparency sheet and measure it and kind of see what size you need it to be for your window. So I just basically folded one in half and cut it again. And then I'm taking my flower and placing it where I think it needs to be. And then this would be a good time also to add any labels that you want to put in between. So I'm just taking another Tracie Fox label and cutting it down, and it says figure B, and then I'm going to glue that inside of the transparency. So once that's done, I'm just going to glue the edges so that it sticks down, and then make sure you glue the inside of the transparency edges so that it doesn't pop up either. And then I realized that I forgot to ink the inside of the window, so I'm doing that after, and then I kind of have to clean up the transparency a little bit. And then I go ahead and ink all the edges of the folder. So my next step was just to use my little tiny attacher and staple the corners of the window just to give it a little bit of more interest, but you don't have to do this. Okay, after I staple all the corners, I sew around the edges just a couple times to give it some more interest. And again, you don't have to do that either. Next, I just took my tab that I made with my We Are Memory Keepers tab punch board, and I'm just going to ink that up, and then I'm going to find a Tracie Fox label to match the size of that. So my next step is just finding some more labels to add to the front, and just kind of playing around with what looks good. Okay, so now we're gonna start making the prong and the label in the back. So I just take another one of her labels and ink it up and kind of figure out where it's gonna go. And then I'm gonna punch 2 holes in it for the zip tie to go. And then here I'm just trimming down the length of the zip tie. You want to make sure that it's short enough to fit inside of the folder. And then I'm just making the edges kind of pointy. You don't have to do that. That was just kind of like an extra step. And then I'm just putting the zip tie through the back of it, and then I'm going to glue that side down. Okay, so now that we have that glued down, I'm just taking my paper, which is, I just blew up one of her labels and then printed it out. And then I marked where I wanted the holes to be and then punched the same size holes so that they could fit the back of the prongs. So you can just use pieces of paper like I show right here. You don't have to blow up her label. It was just kind of something extra that I did. But in my original one, I just used pieces of lined paper. Okay, and then we're just gonna add on the tab to the back side of the folder, and you can put it wherever you think looks good. And then for my final step, I just rounded the corners a little bit just to make it look a little bit more like a file folder. And there you have it. There's my little specimen file folder. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.